it seems like whenever God feels absent from us, when he feels far, we tend to think that it's because of us, that we must be unwanted or unlovable or undesirable, and so God just leaves and he stops paying attention to us. But really, this comes from a fundamental misunderstanding of why God would choose to be present with us in the first place. Because we think that God chose to be present with us because of who we are, but it's actually the opposite that's true. God chose to be present with us because of who he is. You see, he is kind and gracious and loving, and it's out of that character, it's out of God's identity that he chose a people to be present with him. And we know this because 1 Peter talks about that. 1 Peter calls us as Christians a chosen people. But you see, God doesn't choose like you and I choose. We choose people who are the strongest, the smartest, those who we like, those who are most like us. But God doesn't choose that way. God actually chooses those who are completely opposite to who he is. And we know that because Peter wasn't the first person to use the title of chosen people. That title was first used to talk about the people of Israel. And I want to read you something from Deuteronomy. In Deuteronomy 7:7, we see something amazing. We see that God did not choose Israel because of who they were. Let me show you this. Deuteronomy 7:7. It was not because you were more in number than any other people that the Lord set his love on you and chose you. For you were the fewest of all peoples. You see, it wasn't because Israel was a strong nation or that they were mighty or that they showed promise. They were actually weak and few and small and insignificant, and yet God still chose them, not because of their identity, but because of his identity. And so you and I are in the exact same position. You aren't in God's good graces because of how good you are. You are in God's good graces because Jesus was good on your behalf. You see, God isn't present with you because you're really well behaved or you go to church a lot. God is present with you because he chose you. And in choosing you, he credited Jesus' righteousness on your behalf. And that is how he's present with you. And so God's identity as someone who is present and near to you has nothing to do with your identity as a good person or a good Christian. He chose you when you were evil, when you didn't want him, when you were his enemy. He set his affection on you. And so when we come to those times in our life when God feels absent, when he feels far, we can rest in the fact that his nearness to us is not based on our identity as sinners, but on God's identity as someone who loves us and chooses us. Hey, my name's David Bowden with Spoken Gospel. It's the mission of Spoken Gospel to speak the gospel out of every corner of Scripture. And right now, we're going through my book, When God Isn't There. It just shows up. And we're working through every single chapter, showing how it points to Jesus. In fact, every Wednesday, we release a new short lesson that we call Spoken Gospel Sessions, where we work through a bit of the Bible, or right now, this book, showing how it points to Jesus. So we ask that you would join us on Wednesdays there. Also, make sure that you check out what all we have to offer by subscribing to our channel and seeing what else we have to offer. Have a great day. See you later.